Hi, everyone. Welcome to Unstoppable Sisters Rising, empowering women of color to break through and create success, confidence, and financial prosperity. I'm your host, Phyliss Frances, and I'm excited to have you here joining us. And we have Patricia Stallworth here with us today. Hi, Patricia.
Hello.
I wanted to make sure I pronounced your name correctly. And
Yes.
this is one of my favorite topics, as I was telling her. It's about money. And so the topic is money savvy strategies for women. So thanks for coming out here to be with us.
Thank you.
Thanks. And I have so much to say about Patricia, so I just encourage you to be able to check out her bio. But Patricia Stallworth is a business money coach. She's the founder of Wise Wealthy Women CEO Club. She's the author of several books, that's amazing. Minding Your Money is one of them. And her latest book right now is the 27 Savvy Financial Strategies for Women. You know, this is such a rich topic because, like we were saying earlier and before I pressed record, how it's like this is something that we don't really learn. You know, we learn through osmosis. We learn by the modeling. And so I would love for you to share your story and how you came to be a really successful business money coach.
Yeah, I'd love to. As you were saying, we learn by osmosis. And another sort of like trivia fact is that by the age 7, most of our financial values and everything are already formed. So many of us are still running around here with our 7-year-old self managing our money.
Right? Yeah. That's why we're the hugest consumers. This is the biggest consumers, including African Americans. We're one of the biggest consumers. Culture too.
Absolutely, because at 7 years old, what were you thinking? I just want that. Let's get it, kind of thing.
Exactly.
But to get back to my story a little bit, like so many women, I never really learned how to manage money. I grew up, with my parents were divorced, so I grew up with my mom, and money was tight, but I had no conception of what that was, and we never talked about it. So I never really worried about money growing up. Then once I got married, I thought, well, I'll let my husband manage this. And that was like, okay, because men are supposed to know this, right?
Right.
No, I'm sitting at a divorce table where the settlement day and we're dividing the assets. And I'm looking at this number that's really, really small. And when we get to the investments, it's really, really small. And we've been investing for years. And so I keep asking questions about, is this a mistake? Is there, something going on? What is wrong with this number? And so finally they give us a break and they said, this is the correct number. You need to calm down. This is the correct number. And I couldn't calm down. So I had to leave for that day.
Right. And
what I found out is that he really did not understand how to manage money, and he had lost all of our money. After years of saving, I left a marriage with nothing. And so as I'm sitting there and trying to figure out, well, what am I going to do? I have nothing. And at the time, I didn't even have a job. So I really had nothing. And so then I finally, one day it hit me, and I decided, do what everybody else does, follow the money. And so I became a financial advisor. And that's how I got started with this whole thing, because I figured they know how to manage money, number one, and financial advisors tend to do pretty good in terms of their income. So it's like, okay. So I became one. And then once I really learned how to manage money and everything, I thought, well, this is something that everybody needs to know. And that's when I started writing books and having classes and different things like that. And that's sort of been my journey since then. I sort of veer in and out of business because that was my career beforehand. But I really love the mix of business and money. So that's why I became a business money coach.
Wow. I mean, what a story. I mean, that is quite a story to really have that experience and decide, I'm going to turn this around. And now you became an expert in exactly what you had no knowledge. So you can start at any point to really learn how to manage money.
Absolutely. And that's the thing that I want everyone to understand. It's not, sometimes people think that managing money is an intuitive skill because they don't teach it in school. So therefore it must be intuitive. And if I don't know how to do it, then I don't have that talent or whatever. And so I can't do it. But I want people to understand that it's not intuitive. It's a learned skill. And we learn how to do it. You take classes, I work with my clients, on a one-to-one basis to get these things done. But But really, it's easy enough for you to just go out there and do it. You just have to want to. And that sort of brings me to a really important part, and that's your mindset.
Oh
That's
yeah, mindset is huge,
yes.
and I love it, and I really, that's a whole topic I want to get into. But I first want to be able to make the distinction for people out there. What is the difference between a money coach and a financial planner?
Okay. So a financial planner basically does everything for you. You go to them and they say, you give them your money and everything, and they do everything for you. A coach really takes you through the process so that you learn how to do things yourself, so that when the coach is not there, you have a base or a foundation that you can build on, and you can keep going from there. Yeah, you can check in with your coach from time to time, but you have the skills, and that's the main difference.
Oh, I love that. And I love it so much. I love that you're a business money coach, because you really empower people not just to do the right things, but to actually have the knowledge for themselves so that they can continue to do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's for the rest of your life, right?
Absolutely. It's one of those, the fish, give them a fish or teach them how to fish kind of thing. And that's really what I love to do. I love to see people be able to take over that part of their lives, because sometimes it's something that they put on the back burner. I see
Yeah.
so many business owners give all of this to their accountant. Well, that's not your accountant's job to manage your money. They manage your books. It's a totally different story.
Right. That's so true.
And they really work on things that have happened in the past. They give you
Yeah.
reports about what happened last month. They don't tell you what to do next month and things like that. You need to learn those skills for yourself.
Yeah. This is great. And so when you find because you have there's so many things I want to talk about, because it's minding your money, and also I want to know about the strategies, because like you brought up the mindset. There's the mindset about money, but there's also the strategies and the actual, the things that you need to do about it.
Yes, you really need to have both. But the thing that I will tell you that a lot of people don't realize is that the mindset is about 80% of your success. The skills are about 20%. And that's where a lot of people get hung up, because they think that managing your money means investing, and I don't know how to invest, so therefore I could never do this. Managing your money is so much more than investing. And that's just a small piece of it. And that's what you can learn just like the rest of it. Really, the whole story is that earning money is half of the equation, and managing your money is the other half. And if you're missing one, then you're not going to be successful.
And then and explain why mindset's 80%. Why is it such a huge number?
It's such a huge number because we have this ability to think about it. You know the basics of how to manage your money. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just a few basic principles. Spend less than you earn, pay yourself first. I mean, those are things that we know, but we don't do them. Why? It's your mindset. I mean, because we know it, we do know those things. That's not a secret, and so, but we don't do it. And that's your mindset kicking in right there.
And so how do we change that? What do we do about that?
Well, there's several different ways. I sort of like to make sure that you do have the basics. And so I do teach you basics. And then what I do, if you can't really sort of get yourself on track, is I like to put automatic things in place. So we'll put an automatic savings or investing program in place so that you don't even have to worry about it. And then as you begin to see those accounts grow and it gets to be fun after a while, then you can take off the automatic things and you can have more control. But until you get there, I like to just, like to tie your hands in a sense. I used to do a lot of divorce consulting, so I would tell them, give me the gun, let me take the bullets out, so that when you shoot yourself in the foot, you won't hurt yourself, because you're going to shoot yourself. You're just going to do it, so yeah.
Yeah, this is such good stuff. And what would you say is the number one strategy that people should be doing? I mean, actually, there's so many strategies. I don't know where to start first. Okay.
Yeah, there's a ton of them, but like
it's 27.
There's actually only 20. No, I had to leave a lot of them on the cutting floor. But actually, the very first one, which is cultivate a wealthy mindset. Without that mindset, you're dead in the water. I mean, it's like, think about some of the things that we do to ourselves. Money is the root of all evil, right?
Yeah.
And so we know that we know consciously that it is the love of money that is the root of all evil, but your subconscious may not know that. Your subconscious may be thinking money is the root of all evil. So every time I get money, I got to get rid of this. I don't want to be evil. Who wants to be evil? So we actually put these things in place and we start shooting ourselves in the foot, time after time over little tiny things that we don't even understand that we're doing.
And you know what I found has really been interesting in working with women of color? I found that there's a little bit of a fear of not just failure, but success. Mm-hmm. There's this fear that when we become successful, then there's an expectation where we have to start giving to our family. We're being expected, if most of us are usually the breadwinners, or like the focal point of not only our immediate family, but our extended family. And there's this thing of like, oh, I have to give it away, or I'm being pressured to.
Yeah, and really one of the things that you have to do sometimes is you have to educate your family. You have to bring them along with you. If they're not willing to come along with you, then you have to sometimes go into this tough love thing. And that's where you put yourself first. That's why pay yourself first is one of the most important things that you can do. Because once you pay yourself, if you have money left over to share with your family or whatever, then you can do that. But until you do that, until you take care of yourself, the airplane thing, put the mask on yourself first, right. Then you help others, you have to do the same thing with your money. Otherwise, you find yourself just digging yourself deeper and deeper into a rut.
And then, Patricia, when you say pay yourself first, are we talking about buying the next, purse or shoes, or like, what do you mean exactly? Pay yourself first means?
I'm talking about I'm glad you asked that question, because a lot of people go, oh yeah, okay,
I'm gonna go shopping
myself first, and I've been wanting those shoes. It's like, no, that's not what I'm talking about. See, the thing that we get hooked into, which is really so bad, is that we begin to think of material things as rewards to ourselves. And I want to sort of shift the conversation so that when we talk about rewarding ourselves, it's really having a big bank account, or a big investment account. Why don't we brag about those things? Why don't we say, hey, I just added another $100 to my account. Yay. Why is that not just such a great thing that we can talk about? So I'd like to shift that conversation away from shoes and clothes and cars and big houses and all those things into having that bank account. I remember I have a friend who is, he tickles me so bad. He's actually a millionaire, but you wouldn't know it because he lives in a tiny little house and he drives a car that he's had for 10 years. And it's just the things that he does, you would never know that about him. But when we have a conversation, we talk about investments, we talk about his bank account, we talk about things like that. It doesn't matter that he doesn't have the latest car or the finest clothes or anything like that, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Oh, and it's so interesting that you say that, because a while back I read a book from a while ago, like The Millionaire Next Door, and it really talks about those principles that the millionaire next door is usually not flashy. They don't have the Mercedes or the biggest house. They're a little bit more savvy with their money and don't need those things. And I think that's another thing that I find that can also be a cultural thing of just proving our worth. And so we've gotten to this cycle that proving our worth through stuff or having the latest, keeping up with Joneses. I mean, the videos are all about that. What do you say about that? Like getting out of that mindset that wealth is showing that I have, whatever, the latest watch.
Well, the thing of it is that we sometimes get too bogged down in what we think others think about us. And that's a self-esteem issue. And so many of us do have self-esteem issues, and we need to deal with that. It's if that's the thing that's going to make you popular or make you the person that everyone wants to be around, that doesn't work, because you do one thing wrong and they're gone,
Right.
So you've got to really stand in your own power. And one of the things that I'm so excited about is that I have named this the Year of the Woman. And I think you can see it. Women everywhere are just excelling in all kinds of things. I mean, they're taking over. And the one thing that I always say when I talk to these groups is make sure that you're bringing your money with you, because that's the power, because money talks. And so you really want to make sure that it's talking loud for you. So before you go out and really put your money in all these fine outfits and things, make sure that you got the money to back you up so that you can do the things that are really important to you. Because at the end of the day, yeah, it's nice to have, nice things, but at the end of the day, what's really the most important thing in your life? And it's probably your family, your friends, and experiences that you have with them, doing things versus these other things. So really, really get conscious about what is really important to have and do in your life.
I love that. That's really important. And, I know with your book, the 27 Savvy Financial Strategies for Women, you talk about in the beginning about being a shiro, being your own shiro. And so I'd love for you to share a little bit more about that too.
Yeah, that's a financial shiro. That's somebody who takes care of their money. They really go out there and do what they need to do to take care of it. And then when they get to that point where they realize they're not where they want to be financially, they're not afraid to go out and really get the skills or take whatever they need to do or make any sacrifices that they need to make in order to be the financial shiro of their lives, because that's where you want to be. You want to be in control of your money. Once you're in control of your money, there's no stopping you. I mean, there's no limits, once you do that.
I love that. And so that's why it's important, or is that why it's important, so that you can be in control?
So that you can be in control, because as women today, we've got a ton of challenges that we face, and you hear everybody talking about how we make less money than men. And when they talk about that 72 cents on the dollar, compared to men, that's white women. That's not women of color.
It's even worse, right?
It's worse for women of color. So we're making less money and we're living longer. So we have to make less money, go further. And then we don't have any education to back us up. So you have to really, you've got to be that financial shiro of your life. And you've got to learn whatever it is you need to do to be in control of that.
And what are those things? What do we need to do?
Okay, well, the very first thing is to realize what you don't know. It's like you can't fix something if you don't know it's broken. So really, really take a look at your finances, at your financial life. And a lot of people have a really hard problem doing that. It's like, it's adding up all of your debt. It's looking at what's coming in and what's going out and where it's going. It's making sure that you're living beneath your means, not above your means. And credit is one of those things that allows us to live above our means. But that all comes due at some point.
Yeah.
So
with interest.
interest. I mean, I sometimes work with people who we're paying $500, $600, $700 a month in interest. I mean, can you imagine what they could do with that money if they were able to invest it? If they're, instead of giving it to the credit card companies, I mean, seriously, that would be phenomenal to be able to save that kind of money every month. Wow, you could do anything you wanted to. You could retire early. And do
That's amazing.
That. Yeah,
so true. And with your book, so I know you've divided your book into 4 key areas. Can you share what those are and why?
Yeah, well, the first area is really mindset, because as I said, that's one of the most important things. So the first area really really goes through a lot of exercises. And the book is a combination of really text and exercises for you to do. So mindset is the first one. The second one really gets you more into the strategies, the management strategies, or the skills that you need to have. And then the third part focuses in on life transitions. So this may be planning for retirement, or going through a divorce, or anything that we go through in life where we have to make some adjustments to maybe our current plan. And then the final one is on investing. And so it's really just taking you through the steps of investing so that you have all those skills together in one package.
That's great. I mean, and that makes it so simple and easy to follow. And when you talk about investing, for some people, that's a word that's a little scary, because it seems like I need to know the stock market, or I need to know the IPOs, or what do you say about that to make it a little bit more user-friendly for people?
I always tell people, never invest in anything you don't understand. And so here's the thing, you start with the basics. And in one of my classes, I actually take people through and have them set up accounts, investment accounts and things like that. And I don't get into a lot of the fancy things, the IPOs and different kinds of stocks and, you know, different IPOs and puts and calls and all of those things. I don't go into all of those things because you don't need those things to be successful and to build a really good portfolio. You just really need some basic kinds of investments, and that's really what I focus on. I don't have you do weird stuff. Weird stuff is when you have a good portfolio and you want to play, then we get into those kinds of things. But in the beginning, you need to leave those things alone because it's not going to get you where you want to go because you don't know what you're doing. And so therefore it takes you back to don't invest in things you don't understand.
And then Patricia, you know, the whole money conversation, I love this piece about what we're talking and being educated about it. And what does it mean when we keep hearing like, oh, Medicare or Social Security is going to be gone and 2030, like, what does that mean to people? Because it seems so far away or something that just doesn't seem real.
Well, it's long ago. I'm old enough to remember when people actually worked for companies for like 40 years and then they retired and they had a pension. And so what used to happen is you had a pension and you had Social Security and you probably had some savings. And those, they call it a three-stool kind of thing that you had for retirement. And so what has happened now is that most people don't have pensions. Even if you work for a company for 40 years, you're on your own in terms of investing, like in 401ks and things like that. So that's gone. The pension thing is gone. And most people don't have savings. So the stool is now wobbling on one thing, which is Social Security. And the problem is that Social Security was never meant to support you in retirement. It was always meant to augment your retirement. And so when people had pensions and they had savings, then Social Security was just something that just helped out, you know, made it more convenient for you. So what's going to happen if Social Security goes away, then all three legs of the stool are gone and you're flat. And so what that means is that today, and especially for younger people, this is an opportunity for you to start investing early so that you don't have to depend on it. So that if it's there, it's an extra thing, but it's not the thing you're depending on. And so many people, especially baby boomers, are getting caught, you know, because they just didn't have the savings that their parents had. They don't have pensions like their parents had. So they're kind of caught. But the generation coming behind them, this is a great opportunity for you to start now, because the longer I know you've heard of compounding,
right?
The longer you have for money to grow, the more it grows on its own. And so this is the perfect time to do that. And this is something that people need to be aware of. Social Security may not be there. It just may not. I don't know what's going to happen. Things are so wild right now. I have no idea. So you need to plan for the worst scenario and be prepared if it does come through, to just enjoy it.
Gosh, I love how clearly you explain that. That is like amazing how clear that is. So yeah. So, and what can we do, those of us that are like, oh my gosh, I'm maybe in my 30s or 40s and I haven't done anything. Like, where do we start?
You start today. You start that investing program today. And you realize that what you're going to have to do probably is make some sacrifices to invest more so that you can have more. If you had started in your 20s, then it would be an easy breezy thing for you to do. And I always try and grab grandparents, you know, as the new baby comes in and says, invest something for that baby right now. And when that baby is 65, they're going to love you because you're going to have so much money to give them. In fact, if you invested $10,000 when the baby is born, when they're 65, they're a millionaire.
What?
Yes. Yes. And you don't have to put anything else in. So there's so many little things about money.
Yeah.
We don't understand or we don't know. that are so simple that once you get started, it's like OMG. And so I have all of my kids, all of my parents, teach your kids right now. If they're in high school, if they have a part-time job, get them investing. I mean, do it right now so that when they are 65, they will have a ton of money. And
Oh, yeah.
I'm just putting a little bit in starting now.
I'm still tripping on the 10,000 for the baby. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, this is such great information. And then your book has 27 strategies. Yeah. What is your favorite one? Like, what is the one that you'd love to share about?
It's hard to pick a favorite, but I have to go back to number one, the cultivate the wealthy mindset. I have to go back there because that's where it all starts. And if there's nothing else that anybody takes away from this, I want them to understand that once you get your mind on board, then you can do anything. And it's just a matter of just, yes, I want to know how to do this. And you'll just take the time and the energy and you'll get it done.
And then just to deepen it just a little bit, it's what does a healthy mindset look like? A healthy, wealthy mindset?
Well, a healthy, wealthy mindset is one where you have an open mind about things. There's some, I go through several things in that chapter. Another one is, we always say it's better to give than to receive. And so a wealthy mindset is one that is open to receiving. Because if you can't receive anything, then you're not going to get any money. Or you're going to be pushing it away because, you're going to be, oh no, not me. I'm supposed to give. No, it's like you have to really, it's a real mind shift in terms of how you think and view and use money. Because there's so many ways, so many little tiny ways that we are pushing it away from us. And as long as you push money away, you look at it and you go, well, I don't have any. And of course you don't have any. You've pushed it away. So you've got to really have an open mind about receiving money. And you've got to be you've got to give. Karma is good, but you've got to be that receiver. And I think that's where so many women just fall down on the receiving part. They receive something and they give it away. It's like, okay, I found $100. Let me go buy something for somebody else. It's like, it's not really, let me save this and watch it grow. And another part of that is really just understanding that money is money is money. Sometimes when we find things or people gift us things, we don't think that money is as as we don't appreciate that one as much as the money we work for. There's a difference. It's like, what is the difference? Money is money is money. And so if it's a gift or if you find it or if you earn it, it's all the same. And you really need to look at it that way instead of thinking that there's differences in money based upon where you get it from.
I love that. That is such a great note to really kind of powerfully end on, because I feel like I always tell women, especially the givers, like try inhaling without exhaling, or try exhaling without inhaling. Like you both, you can't it's the whole giving and receiving, right? The reciprocity of being able to receive, especially, it's beautifully well said. So is there anything that you wanted to get to that we didn't, or share that we didn't get to, or any points that we wanted to highlight?
I guess the main thing is you just need to feel the fear and do it anyway. That's a book that I read many years ago, and I keep reading it over and over again, because it really just tells you as you step into new things, change is always fearful, but you have to have that ability to just walk into that change. So if the idea of taking control of your money, the idea of investing, if the idea of saying no to maybe a friend or relative who wants to borrow money from you is something that you're fearful of, you've got to find your voice. Because today, honestly, if you don't take care of your money, then you won't have anything. I have this saying of, if you don't mind your money, someone else will, and then they will control your future. And as many of us look into our lives, we can see how someone or something else is actually controlling our future because they're controlling our money.
Wow, it's a big thing. It's a big thing. Wow, Patricia, this has been such an amazing conversation and so informative too. And
Thank you.
I know that you have a gift that you wanted to share with everybody to even get more knowledgeable on this topic. Someone
Yes,
opportunity.
yes, I have. We've been talking about it all along, which is that cultivate a wealthy mindset. And that's the first chapter of my book. And I'm giving a free download of that because I think it's so important. The whole mindset issue is so important that I would really like for everyone to have that to get started with on their journey to financial freedom.
Oh, I love this. I think the mindset is so key. And I love how the mind shift too. I mean, I love that. That was one of my programs, Mind Shift to Success, because it's such a big piece. And I love that that's where you start with it all, before you start getting into the actual tangible strategies. That's great. I also know that you have a special bonus gift for those that upgrade and purchase the summit. And so they'll get access to this gift. And what is that?
Yes, this is a quiz that I have. It's called the Biz Money IQ. And so, what is your Biz Money IQ? And this gives you a chance to go through and answer some questions to see if you really understand the money parts of your business. And so, as you go through and answer those questions, and then at the end, you get your IQ score and some explanations of things that you can do to up level your score if you like, or just to understand where you stand in terms of understanding business and money, because those two things really go together. If you don't understand the money side of your business, then you're going to be stuck. You're going to have to work a lot harder, and you're going to have to work a lot longer to get to the same place you could if you were managing your money.
So true, Patricia. I mean, that's well said, especially with your background. I just know when I hired a tax strategist that was specifically for business, it changed everything because I learned so much more about how to be more savvy, how to write off better, how to really utilize, and it's quick little tweaks here and there that make a difference. It's just having that knowledge. So I love that you're here to educate people on that. And so this is great. So I have Patricia Stallworth. Thank you so much. Money Savvy Strategies for Women. Where can people find you if they want to learn more about you and your classes and what you're up to?
They can visit my website at psworth, psworth.com. And they can get all kinds of information there about not just me, but also the W3 CEO Club, which is also a group that I manage.
Oh, I love this. And I love your website, PS Worth, like PS, you're worth it.
You're worth it. And it's also part of my name, which is a really cool thing. So
That's great. That's awesome. Thank you so much for being here and being able to share all of your wisdom and wealth with us. And
thank you.
I appreciate that.
This has been so enjoyable. Yeah.
Yes, I really enjoy this. I feel like there's so much more to talk about because we only covered, I don't know, like just a couple of the strategies. I mean, you've got 27, so there's a way more to go. And then the ones that are on the floor, we want to know too.
Okay.
So thank you, Unstoppable Sisters Rising, for all of you joining us. This is just more and more ways in which we can come together as a community and rise financially as far as getting smart and savvy with our knowledge around money. So thanks for listening, and to go to unstoppablesistersrising.com, go check out Patricia Stallworth's bios up there. There's links there to her free gift and all of the amazing stuff. See you soon.